Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 57, recorded on the 26th of February 2024, released on the 2nd of March 2024. So as usual, I'm binge recording because I don't know the next recording day I'm going to have. And in this episode, we're going to continue looking at some more Doctor Who news. So without further ado, let's get to it. Catherine Tate and David Tennant talk about the premise of Wild Yonder. David and Catherine mention the lot things. Next up, David Tennant and Catherine Tate talk about acting in Doctor Who whilst wearing their prosthetics featured in Wild Yonder. Next up, Chania Button introduces herself. The scene Chania will be discussing, so this is Chania Button's screen breakdown feature thing, and Chania Button was the director of The Giggle. The scene Chania will be discussing is the Bi-Generation featuring The Giggle. Chania calls this scene as one of the most challenging scenes to shoot as a director. Chania reveals that the Bi-Generation scene is 12 to 14 pages in the script. Chania also reveals that it took 5 days to shoot this one scene. Chania refers to the scene where the 14th Doctor gets shot as the heart of the Bi-Generation. Chania talks about David Tennant being skewered by the galvanic beam that the Toymaker is currently in possession of. Chania explains how this scene was filmed. Chania, calls the Toymaker cruel. Chania talks about the 14th Doctor realising something is different about this regeneration leading to the Bi-Generation. Chania reveals that both David and Shooter were watching each other film their scenes. And Chania talks about the impossibility of the Bi-Generation. Next up, Rusty Davis, David Tennant and Neil Patrick talk about how unpredictable the Giggle is, as does Gemma Redgrave and Chania Button. Russell and David talk about the return of the Toymaker and unit. David and Russell talk about the Bi-Generation and the catch scene. Bonnie Langford believes that the Giggle is a record-breaking episode of Doctor Who, and Neil believes that the 60th anniversary specials are the biggest that Doctor Who has ever been. Next up will be the Doctor Who Magazine 2023 Christmas Quiz. Yes, so as I just said, it is time for the Doctor Who Magazine 2023 Christmas Quiz, which if you've read Doctor Who Magazine, you know that it was out in December. It was December, so it's still quite a long time ago, but I wanted to wait until the answers came out so I could do them together. So the answers for the Christmas quiz will be coming up in a future episode of the podcast. We're going to go through the questions now. So the first of the 14th Doctor specials adapted the 1980 Doctor Who weekly comic strip Star Beast. So the first few questions about the Star Beast. Question 1. The original story introduced the first companion created specifically for the comic strips since the day of Since the days of John and Gillian in the TV comic. What was her name? Question 2. What colour was the Meep when the strip was reprinted in Marvel's US Doctor Who comic? Question 3. Where was the sequel strip Star Beast 2 published? Question 4. Who played the Meep in the audio sequel The Ratings War, released as a free gift with Doctor Who Magazine issue 313? Question 5. Which newsreader guest starred in the audio adaptation of the Star Beast in 2019? Next up, we're talking about Wild Yonder, so we've got some questions about Doctor Who and the colour blue. Question 6. What's the famous blue planet of the Acton Galaxy? Question 7. On what planet is blue the colour of morning? Question 8. In which episode did the 10th Doctor first wear his blue suit? Question 9. What role did the blue New Paradigm Daleks play? And question 10. Whose horoscope foretold the colour blue was important? Next up, we'll talk about Toymaker. So that's going to be related to the Toymaker or the original Toymaker story. How many moves was the Doctor given to solve the triologic game in the 1966 story The Celestial Toymaker? That's question 11. Question 12. The Toymaker was supposed to return in 1986 The Nightmare Fair, but the story wasn't produced. Who wrote the scripts? Question 13. The short story Games, published in Doctor Who magazine issue 192, saw the Toymaker playing chess with which adversary of the 7th Doctor? Question 14. The Toymaker was the villain in Endgame, Doctor Who magazine's first 8th Doctor strip. This had the TARDIS returning to which village featured in several 5th Doctor strips. Question 15. Which actor, previously a 4th Doctor villain on TV, played the Toymaker in 2 audio stories, including an adaptation of the Nightmare Fair? Next we're going to be looking at some previous anniversaries, so the 10th, 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th anniversaries basically. Question 16. On the wraparound cover of the Radio Times' 10th anniversary special, the 3rd Doctor was menaced by a Dalek, a Cyberman, and which other monster? Question 17. Robert Holmes' proposed 20th anniversary story was replaced by the 5th Doctor's 5 Doctors. I made a new story, Doctor Who story there. What was the title of Holmes' abandoned adventure? Question 18. The 30th anniversary story, Dimension Time, took place in EastEnders' Albert Square, in which 3 time zones? Question 19. Who briefly played a new Doctor in a story for 40th anniversary, having previously played a different incarnation of the character even more briefly? Question 20. The 50th anniversary story, the Day of the Doctor, was the first since Dimension Time to use which process? Next up, we want to know the Doctor Who magazine wants to know which was the first story to be novelised featuring. What was the first story to be novelised featuring the 2nd Doctor? For question 21. Question 22, the Master. Question 23, the 4th Doctor. Question 24, Romana. Question 25, the 5th Doctor. Question 26, the 6th Doctor. Question 27, Donna Noble. Question 28, the 11th Doctor. Question 29, the 12th Doctor. And question 30, the 13th Doctor. So now we have the Whoniverse indent, which is why if you go on my channel there is no Doctor Who playlist, there's just a Whoniverse playlist because it's now what it's called. And in that Whoniverse indent, for questions 31 to 36, which 6 Doctors appear on the W? For questions 37 to 44, there are 8 characters on the H. Who are they? Question 45 to 50, name the 6 monsters and villains that are featured on the O. And then we're talking, for the last 10 questions of the quiz, talk about Tales of the TARDIS, and they want to know which of these objects can be seen in the memory TARDIS and which cannot. So we have Stephen's panda mascot Hyphy, Bessie's number plate, the TARDIS, force field generator, the 4th Doctor's scarf, a poster for Ace's Happiness Patrol audition, the gramophone from the 1996 TV movie, the 10th Doctor's machine that goes ding, the 11th Doctor's faithful friend Handles, the 12th Doctor's guitar, and the 13th Doctor's ear cuff. That was the Doctor Who magazine 2023 Christmas quiz. Answers from the quiz will be coming up in a future podcast episode. So next up, we're talking about Doctor Who magazine issue 599, Gallifrey Guardian. So Russ T Davies promises that episode 1 of the 2024 season is completely different, and episode 2 features the Beatles. As we've talked about previously, Angela Winter has recorded the audiobook for the Church of Ruby Road. The Celestial Toymaker will be released on DVD, Blu-ray and Steelbook, and 13th Doctor's comic strips released on the 1st of March. Next up, we're talking about, we're talking about Doctor Who magazine issue 599, letter from the showrunner, where Russell mentions the entire Whoniverse being on BBC iPlayer. Russell talks about his and David Tennant's appearance on the One Show. Russell reveals that spoilers were revealed from Wild Blue Yonder before it broadcast due to a time mistake. And are we going to do one more? Are we going to do one more? Yes, we'll do one more. A final bit of news, Doctor Who news we're going to talk about in this episode. Doctor Who Magazine issue 599 production diary. Scott talks about the announcements of the Children Need special and the Daleks in Colour. Scott mentions the press screening of the Star Beast and that Moran Wiswan will join David Tennant in the Children Need special. Scott reveals stuff about the broadcasts of the Children Need special Destination Skaro, Doctor Who Unleashed, Daleks in Colour, and the Star Beast. We are getting there, and I think, and we've kind of caught up to where I've wrote for. But yes, there'll be more news. We'll be looking at Doctor Who Magazine's issue 599 and 600, the 2024 yearbook. We will have the Christmas quiz answers at some point, and there might be a few other bits and pieces. But that's it for this episode of the podcast. Send me in the comments below if you did read Doctor Who Magazine. Let me know what you thought of those bits. If you didn't, let me know what you thought about this episode, and any review suggestions, as always, are welcome. You can do all of that in the comments below. Remember, you can also like and subscribe. And that's it for the Everything Podcast, Season 3, Episode 57. Goodbye.